Hello friends, welcome to Insights ICANN Initiative. In today's video, we are going to discuss about weekly current issues. This is the weekly current issues number 11. Previous 10 weeks, if you did not go through that video, please go through by following that playlist. In the playlist, weekly current issue, you can find the previous week's current issues. Now, without any further delay, we will discuss which topics we are going to cover in this particular video. So these are the contents we are going to cover. The first one is 5th schedule of the Indian Constitution. This is related to Indian polity. And the Glacial Lake Outburst flood. It is related to both geography and environment and disaster management. International Coral Reef Initiative, environment mainly. And funding related to environment related projects. AUKUS, it is related to IR, international relations. R21 Matrix M vaccine. It is a vaccine related to malaria. And it is the second vaccine approved by WHO related to malaria. And in terms of SNT, it is very important. And Financial Stability Board, it is related to economy subjects. And what is Financial Stability Board is going to be do and why it is in use, we will discuss. And finally, AFSPA, it is related to internal security. Recently, AFSPA been further extended in the Manipur. So in this way, from various subjects, we are going to cover this list of components in this particular video. Now, without any further delay, first we will see 5th schedule of the Indian Constitution. So first, what is about the 5th schedule? 5th schedule of the Indian Constitution deals with the administration of the scheduled and tribal areas other than Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. Now, the 5th schedule is effective in India, around 10 states in India. 5th schedule is effective. In this 5th schedule, significant tribal population is there. So, to administer the tribal areas, of course, these tribal areas are having the distinct cultural as well as the administrative mechanism. To respect them, we are following the 5th schedule. Now, the Supreme Court is emphasized that according to the 5th schedule, governor can give directions so that laws made by the state legislature as well as the laws made by the parliament, they can be amended according to that particular area. So, Supreme Court is reiterating the governor powers regarding the scheduled areas. That is the reason it is in news. Now, we will see why it is in news. Like I said earlier, Supreme Court emphasized the 5th schedule, paragraph 5, clause 1. That is, governor can empower to give the directions related to amendment of the parliament as well as the state laws in such a manner that they are suitable to the scheduled areas. And of course, as a part of this, they can add certain exemptions and modification to the laws made by the parliament and state legislature. 5th schedule. 5th schedule deals with the administration of the tribal areas other than Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. And these areas, that means these 5th schedule areas, they will be treated differently. Why they should be treated differently? Because they are inhabited by aboriginals and these are the peoples. They have the distinct social, economical backgrounds rather than the other people. The declaration of the scheduled areas, then who will declare a particular place as a scheduled area? Under Article 244 clause 1, President will give notice. Okay, through President notification, a particular area will be declared as scheduled area. And President is authorized to give further orders so that way that particular area ceases to identified as a scheduled area. Those orders also come from the President. Then President can decrease the area of the scheduled area and President can increase the scheduled area in consultation with the governor of that particular state. And what are the criteria required to identify a particular area as a scheduled area? The criteria is mainly the tribal population and it should have a reasonable size to become an administrative unit and it must be underdeveloped. Obviously, these tribal areas and areas which are living by these aboriginals, obviously they are categorized underdeveloped in terms of the economic standards and social backwardness as well. And this criteria is not mentioned in the Constitution. We developed this later by making a law in the Parliament. Special provisions regarding the scheduled areas. The central government can give directions to the states in terms of the administration of those areas. Actually, we will cover this aspect in the administrative relation between the center and state. As a part of the administrative relation between the center and state, center can give certain directions to states regarding the administration of scheduled area. And governor has to give annual report to the president regarding the Scheduled Areas Administration. Tribal Advisory Council, it is the one related to the scheduled area, and it deals with the developing of welfare programs and advancement of the scheduled area people in terms of social and economic advancements. And regarding this, to ensure more effectiveness of governance in the scheduled area, governor can give certain directions also. According to that, governor orders may prohibit or restrict the transfer of land from tribes to non-tribes. Actually, this aspect was asked in the previous year question. And the allotment of land to the other than scheduled tribe members, and carrying of business such as money lending, and governor may amend certain laws made by the parliament, like I said earlier. With respect to all these things, governor can give orders. So this is about the Schedule 5 and Supreme Court. So finally, Supreme Court emphasized the powers of governor in related to the scheduled area. That is about the topic number 1. And the topic number 2, it is related to the, glacial. This is related to glaciers and floods induced by the glaciers. The topic name is Glacial Lake Outburst Flood. So first we will discuss about what is a glacial lake. Simple, a lake formed by the glacier. Glacier is nothing but accumulation of snow. So the glacial lake outburst flood. When these glacial lakes outburst, when they overflow, it creates floods in the downstream. So that is about the glacial lake outburst flood. Recently, tell me guys, in which state these floods happened? And these floods related to which river? That is also, put your answer in the comment section. So when these normally glacial lakes, they are having the natural boundaries. They are bound by natural boundaries. Generally, these natural boundaries are formed by these moraines, sediment carried by the lake. When these natural boundaries breaks away, or when the water in this lake overflows, it may be due to many reasons. Maybe due to the global warming. Because of the global warming, when glaciers melting quickly, obviously the lake water will overflow. Or it may be due to the avalanche, snow. Or it may be due to landslide. Or it may be due to earthquake. Because of all these reasons, this glacial lake may overflow. It may lead to outburst and it creates the floods in the downstream. Normally these glaciers are present in the slope areas. So any sensitive issues also can trigger that kind of floods. So that is about the glacial lake outburst flood. Recently this glacial lake outburst flood, popularly known as GLOF, it happened in Sikkim. It created the death of around 15 members and still some people are missing. Actually army base was there, and this floods created the missing of army personnel as well. It was very unfortunate incident. So glacial lake outburst flood, like I said earlier, the large bodies of water which sits below or which sits in front of the glacier, that is the glacial lake. They grow very slowly and they become more dangerous when their boundaries become weak here. So I already explained what is this glacial lake outburst flooding reasons. It may be due to the landslide, or it may be due to avalanche, or it may be due to earthquake, or it may be due to global warming. It can be due to all these reasons the flooding can possible. Next, so the flooding in Sikkim, it is related to which lake? That also you have to understand. This is related to lake, South Lonak Lake. This South Lonak Lake is related to this particular thing, sea level. This South Lonak Lake. And this South Lonak Lake, it formed due to the melting of the particular glacial. And this lake is bordered by this moraine jammed glacial lake. Moraine means, as I said earlier, sediment carried by the glacier. And it is growing very fastly. In last 46 years, it has grown around 2 kilometers in area between 1962 to 2008. Why it is growing? Because of the global warming. So this is the topic number 2, that is glacial lake outburst flood. Now we will move to the next topic, that is the coral reef. To conserve the coral reef, so one organization is raising funds. We are going to discuss about what is that organization. That organization name is International Coral Reef Initiative, ICRI. This organization and UN Environment Grant Program. These both together, they are raising funds to conserve the coral. Students, coral reefs, generally they are present in the marine water. They cannot survive in the fresh water. Coral reef consists of the symbiosis between the plant and animal. Here the animal is coral. Coral is invertebrate animal and it gives shelter to the plant, that is algae. In algae, particular algae such as zooxanthellae. Zooxanthellae is a type of algae which resides in the coral. The zooxanthellae perform the photosynthesis so that it will produce the food. Whereas this coral gives protection. That kind of symbiotic relationship is there between these two. And due to this global warming, due to increased temperature of ocean, or it may be due to ocean acidification, this algae slowly displacing from the coral. That is known as coral bleaching. If you don't stop the coral bleaching, it may also result to the death of the coral as well. Why the corals are important? Corals give shelter to so many species. That is the reason we can call coral reefs as tropical rainforest of the ocean. Okay, so let's see further regarding the importance of coral reef. Corals, they contribute a lot to the new medicines, and around 50 crore people, they'll benefit from the reef protection from floods and all these things, and they provide food to humans as well as marine. Almost a coral reef generate $375 billion through tourism and employment, and they provide habitat to almost 25% of the entire marine ecosystem. They protect the coast and beach from the erosion, and they also helps in the carbon and nitrogen fixing and recycles the nutrients. So from this you can understand the major importance of the coral reefs. So it is very imperative we have to protect the coral reefs. Let's see International Coral Reef Initiative. It is to conserve as well as restore coral reefs ecosystem. About the International Coral Reef Initiative, it was launched in 1994 and launched by countries such as Australia, France, Japan, Jamaica, Philippines, Sweden, Britain and United States. These countries launched. Now the membership grown to 45 countries. India is also a member in this initiative. Okay, because we are also having certain coral reefs, and this is a global partnership between the nations as well as organizations to protect coral reefs and ecosystem. Actually, whatever the decisions taken in this organization, they are non-binding in nature. And this organization also playing very important role in UN developmental programs as well as some of the international cooperation programs. These organization inputs are taking into their decisions. The objective is to promote the best practices in the sustainable management of the coral reefs as well as raise awareness among all the sections regarding the protection of coral reefs. What is the coral? Already we discussed about the coral and symbiotic relationship. This is about the third topic, that is the coral reefs. Now we are going to discuss the fourth topic, that is the AUKUS. Australia, UK and US. Recently, AUKUS grouping, they decided that this UK company got major project related to manufacturing of the nuclear submarines, and these nuclear submarines are going to be delivered to Australia. And this is the first time this design is done by the UK and the technology is providing by the USA. It's the first time USA is providing nuclear technology in terms of submarines other than UK. Previously it shared this technology only with UK, now it is sharing with Australia. So this is indicating the strengthening of AUKUS. You know that this Australia initially given this order to France. Later they changed their order to UK. That created diplomatic rift between the Australia and France. Now let's see the context. AUKUS initiative. This UK awarded £4 billion project to 3 UK businesses to design and build nuclear powered submarines. Tell me students, does India is having any nuclear powered submarine? If yes, what is the name of that? AUKUS established in 2021 and 3 countries are there, Australia, UK and USA. This main objective is to enhance the defense capability among all these 3 countries in the Indo-Pacific region, because in the Indo-Pacific region China influence is growing. that growing China influence is countered through AUKUS as well as Quad. You know that in Quad, USA, Australia, Japan and India are the member countries. What is this submarine components? This submarine component is designed to Australia, and the submarines are equipped with the nuclear powered attacks. And how many submarines? 8 submarines. And the design is given by Britain. Technology is provided by America. For the first time, USA is sharing its nuclear propulsion technology to other than UK. Like I said earlier, it's mainly targeting towards Indo-Pacific. And clearly, here they are using the nuclear technology only for the peaceful purpose, civilian purpose. They are not equipping the submarines with nuclear weapons. That clarity you have to understand, because Australia already signed the NPT, Non-Proliferation Treaty. Non-Proliferation Treaty is all about not developing any nuclear weapons. So here Australia is not equipping the submarines with nuclear weapons. Simply they are using the nuclear technology to run their submarines. That is about the AUKUS and the submarines design and manufacturing by UK. Our next topic, this is topic number 5. It is related to malaria vaccine. Recently WHO approved malaria vaccine. We are going to discuss about what is the name of this vaccine and what kind of mosquitoes will cause the malaria. And you know that malaria caused by pathogen known as protozoa. Malaria consists of 2 life cycles, life cycle in mosquito and life cycle in human being. Okay, in human being, the liver is the first organ affected by the malaria. So this malaria vaccine is going to save lot of people. This malaria is mainly spread in the tropical region. You don't see malaria much in the temperate as well as beyond that regions. So because this disease is very highly in tropical region, even the African countries are the major sufferers of the malaria. In malaria, in human body, erythrocytes, RBCs will be affected by malaria along with the liver. Now let's see, WHO approved the second malaria vaccine. That name is R21 Matrix M. It is the second one. The first malaria vaccine, it was RTS S/AS01. So tell me students, the first malaria vaccine was developed by which company? Which company developed that? Tell me. So once this WHO is approved, now this vaccine will be added to this Gavi Foundation. Gavi stands for Global Vaccine Alliance, and UNICEF. They'll buy these vaccines and they distribute these vaccines to the poor African nations. And this vaccine, it prevents the malaria in children. And this vaccine is developed by University of Oxford along with the Serum Institute of India. Of course, they received support from other organizations such as European and Developing Countries Clinical Trial Partnership, Wellcome Trust and some other organization. But you have to remember, it is mainly by Oxford University and Serum Institute of India. It is the first malaria vaccine to reach the WHO's target of 75% efficacy. That means when you are giving this vaccine to 100 people, it is showing effectiveness in almost all 75 people. It has already been approved for use in countries such as Burkina Faso, Ghana and Nigeria, where this malaria infection is very high. It is going to be rolled out in Africa by early 2024 and in the rest of the world by mid 2024. Malaria is a tropical disease. It is a life-threatening disease caused by parasite, that is protozoa, which spreads through the female Anopheles mosquito bites. Actually, malaria is spread by 5 different types of mosquitoes, but malaria is spread by female Anopheles, Plasmodium falciparum and this Plasmodium vivax. These 2 protozoa varieties are very dangerous. This malaria caused by 5 protozoan types. Out of these 5 protozoan types, 2 are very dangerous. They are the Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax. This is very common in tropical areas. And this malaria, when it is not controlled initially, sometimes it can be escalated to the cerebral malaria, which may result to coma and the death in almost all 15% in children and 20% in the adults. Malaria can be treated by combination of drugs. It depends on which type of protozoa is causing that malaria. Main anti-malarial drugs are chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, primaquine, artemisinin-based therapy, and atovaquone drug. These are the different combination of drugs basically uses in malaria. Next, the next topic is related to economy. In the economy, we are going to discuss about Financial Stability Board. Actually, Financial Stability Board recently they announced that they are going to investigate. They are going to investigate about what? They are going to investigate the hedge fund. You know what is the meaning of hedge fund? Hedge fund is like a mutual fund, but hedge fund is open to very few people, and hedge fund is a very least regulated fund. So FSB is saying that hedge funds are borrowing out of the banks. That means other than bank borrowing, their borrowings are increasing. It is a time to supervise more effectively regarding the FSB. Now we will see this FSB, Financial Stability Board. They are going to launch a probe regarding the extra banking borrowings of the hedge funds. Here you have to remember, FSB is created by G20 nations, and this decision was in 2009. FSB brings together national authorities which are responsible for the financial stability and international organizations and standard setting bodies. Okay, all these organizations will be coordinated by FSB, and not only the coordination, they also develop and promote the very effective regulatory practices in the best interest of the financial stability. And the FSB decisions are not legally binding, they are only recommendatory in nature. FSB Secretariat headquarters present in Basel, Switzerland. FSB membership, 68 member institutions. They include several banks, central banks of various countries, as well as the 10 international organizations, 6 regional consultative groups. This board includes all the G20 major economies. Of course, India is also a member of G20. You know that this year G20 meeting was happened in India. Tell me students, what is the theme of this year G20 meeting? Okay. And the structure of the FSB, it works in 3 levels. Plenary, which takes decision making body, steering committee, which implement day-to-day decisions, and the standing committee. It performs specific decisions. India and FSB. India is an active member of the FSB, having 3 seats. From India, who are representing in the FSB? From India, the secretary belong to Department of Economic Affairs, and the deputy governor of RBI, and the chairman of SEBI. All these 3 people will involve in this, FSB. That is the 5th topic, the 6th one. Now the 7th topic we are going to discuss is AFSPA. First you have to know, AFSPA stands for Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Normally in any area, if the state is unable to control the law and order, it seeks the help of the central government, or else union government on its own will take control of the law and order in that particular state or few regions in that particular state. Because Article 355 is mandating that it is a union government responsibility to protect states. From what? From the internal disturbance as well as the external aggression. That is what 355 is talking about. Now the AFSPA is implemented in entire UT of J&K and in states such as Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland and Manipur. Why we are discussing about AFSPA now? Recently, Manipur government declared that they are extending the AFSPA for further 6 months in the valley region, in the hill regions. You know that Manipur consists of valley as well as the hill regions. In the hill regions, various tribes live. One of the major tribe in Kuki, whereas in the valley region, Meitei community lives. Recently, Manipur High Court, they supported the ST reservation to Meitei community. That resulted to protest, and that protest led to a lot of violence in Manipur, which attracted the entire, world's attention. Manipur decided to extend the AFSPA for further 6 months. AFSPA, this act originally inspired from this Quit India movement, and it was during the Britishers' time. This act used to be there. Of course, after we got independence also, with some minor amendments, we made again this AFSPA Act. AFSPA stands for Armed Forces Special Powers Act. It was made in 1958. In which areas AFSPA will be implemented? AFSPA will be implemented only in the disturbed area. Who will notify a particular area as a disturbed area? Union government will notify a particular area as a disturbed area. Central government or the governor through notification, they will issue area as a disturbed area. And here we discuss that Article 355. According to Article 355, it is the responsibility of Union government to protect the state against external aggression as well as internal disturbance. Through AFSPA, armed personnel will get special provisions so that they can arrest anyone on the mere suspicion. After giving warning, even they can do the fire also. And they can search and seize any vehicle. And they have to produce the arrested individuals to the nearest police station. So that means if AFSPA is there implemented in a particular area, their armed personnel will get very special powers that we have to understand. So tell me guys, in fundamental rights, which article covers immunity given to armed personnel? Now AFSPA is present in these areas. If a particular area is declared as a disturbed area, the decision cannot be called into question in the judiciary. That means it won't come under judicial review. That is about the AFSPA. 7th topic. And the yesterday's video question. Which of the following east flowing rivers of India having the Rift Valley due to the down warping? The answer is Damodar River. Damodar River. Now let's see today's video's question. First question. Sela Tunnel project recently in news. It is located in which state? Sela Tunnel. Next question. Attosecond pulses are used in chemical reactions to what? Actually, it is related to Nobel Prize. Next question. The South Lonak Lake is located in where? South Lonak Lake. Next question. Ichmati River recently in news. It is a transboundary river between India and which country? What is the significance of the R21 matrix M vaccine? And so these are the today's video question. As we reach to the end of this video, we'll quickly revise, we'll quickly see in this particular video the 7 topics we discussed. And this is the week 11 current issues detailed analysis. Thank you.